I think this is freaking awesome. From TR Fight Stick, they are introducing the Octopus. They say it's not a fight stick, it's a weapon. But yeah, this thing I was excited to get my hands on. They sent me one, a prototype model to test out. So, a couple disclaimers just in the beginning of the video here. This model that I have here, it's prototype. It is not a final version. They had a few prototypes for testing purposes, and they wanted to send me one to check out. So I just want to share it with you guys, but understand this is not the final product, that kind of thing. And also the second part of this is, it is a crowdfunding campaign. And while I love TR Fight Stick, I've purchased things from them in the past. These guys love the Sega Dreamcast and whatnot. I always have to say, when it comes to crowdfunding campaigns, you have to back at your own risk, you know what I mean? But there will be a link down below if you're interested in this device. I think it's sweet. I can't wait for the final version to come out. But what is this thing? So the Octopus, obviously it's an arcade stick, even though they say it's not an arcade stick, it's a weapon, but it's an arcade stick. This thing is pretty unique because if you're a person like me who loves the Sega Dreamcast, but also loves gaming on tons of other devices, this may be the one for you. I have a love for the Dreamcast, like beyond many other consoles. I have like every accessory possible for this thing. I have the Agitech arcade sticks, and while I like those, they do kind of like the components kind of get a little worn over time, and it's a pain in the ass to upgrade that thing. So I think this is going to be a cool option for the Dreamcast for a few reasons. One, this thing has a built-in VMU. I think that's sweet. But then two, you could use this on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 3, 4. With the PS4 compatibility, you should be able to use it on the PS5 for PS4 games and whatnot. It can also be used on Android systems, Mr. FPGA. The list goes on, and it could be expanded upon in the future. I don't know. But we have this connection back here. It's an RJ45 output for different connections. So the one, they sent me a connection here for the Dreamcast. They said it's just a prototype. I don't have a USB version of this cable at this time to test it on other devices. But I think this is kind of sweet. So multi-platform compatibility with their new little fight board that they've put into this thing. And I do believe they're selling the actual board separately if you want to create your own, Dreamcast arcade stick or, a multi-compatible arcade stick type of thing. Cool little encoder they got going on. It's supposed to be easy customization. Like you could swap out these, top face plates and whatnot. You can easily open up the bottom to get access to swapping out components or servicing things. And, you have all that kind of access. One cool thing, too, that I think is the encoder they have in here, it takes a micro SD card. And with that, like I have a 4 gigabyte one in here, that gives me access to, I believe, 10 VMUs on here that you could swap around if you need. Like, so 10 internal VMUs built into this. Now, if you want to be transferring saves, manipulating things, doing all that kind of stuff, backing things up, you could just simply plug this in with USB and access it that way. Or you could take the micro SD card out, pop it in your computer, use whatever software you want to use, that kind of thing. So we've got turbo mode. We got a few buttons up here. SOCD cleaner to have clean and accurate directional inputs. Left stick, D-pad swap, so you could change how this reacts type of thing. 4-player LED to signify which player this is plugged into type of thing. And then that little this is a 1.54 inch OLED screen that perfectly mimics like an original VMU. Like it's not just like you could select things through it. No, it will show like the pictures from the games, all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. But let's go ahead and power the system on. I have this little InnoView monitor. I'm going to be doing a video, and I actually freaking love this thing. Like this video is not dedicated to this. Like I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I love these damn portable monitors that have like a stand built in. This thing is freaking sweet. But yeah, we'll do a separate video on that in the very near future. But when I booted up the Dreamcast, my Dreamcast here has a Terra Onion mode built into it, right? So when you have a VMU, it'll show the mode thing on there, right? So it'll change to whatever game we select. Like if the game most games supported, like they would have their own special little graphics and stuff like that. Let's find like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and check that out real quick. Oh, I skipped it right there. So this works perfectly with the Dreamcast with the mode in it. If you have a GDMU, that kind of thing, this will work fine with that. But I just think it's cool. Like, man, like I have that Agitech arcade stick, and that thing's sweet. It's built like a tank. It's just those components, the stick and the buttons. Like, at some point you may want to swap those out, but the feel of the whole thing is great. It's solid. But it's just like for somebody to come out with like, hey, we made a stick for the Dreamcast. Look at that. Like, oh, my cable's getting stuck back here. I'm trying to show you. Look at the VMU. That's freaking awesome. I don't know if this is going to have like compatibility with other things in the future. Like they could update the firmware on this encoder, all that kind of stuff. Like this is really cool. So the crowdfunding campaign is live now. I'll have a link down below. On the back, we have a start button. I honestly, I don't know what this switch does. I honestly have no clue. I'm not sure what that does. So my bad on that. But the start button is back there to be out of the way. Kind of nice when you have an arcade stick with the start button on the back instead of up here so you don't accidentally hit it. You're in a tournament or something, no matter how it's being hosted, like you don't want to accidentally pause the game while you're fighting against somebody, right? But let's get into this. All Sanwa parts in this stick, which is pretty awesome. I know, everybody has their preference, but I do like Sanwa, so that's really cool. That, because like those Agitech buttons and whatnot, we got the green, like that, OG arcade stick. We got the green layout here. But yeah, these just for me feel a hell of a lot better and they're longer lasting, that kind of thing. One of my preferred buttons and sticks, right? But let's check this out real quick before we wrap this up. But one other thing, they did make note, I saw on their crowdfunding campaign, which they've already like surpassed their goal. So that's cool. There's a lot of people interested in this device. It's very solid. Even just this prototype's very solid. I know this is all like 3D printed. I don't know how the hell you 3D print like a whole box like this, but it's pretty solid just for a prototype. So I could imagine the final version is going to be a hell of a lot, sturdier and better than this. But I still think this is nice at this time. I love like getting prototypes and stuff. It's kind of cool. See where a product starts at and where it winds up ending being at, right? But what I was getting at is on their crowdfunding campaign, they do note that because they're in Turkey, they're from Turkey. There was an earthquake earlier this year. It caused a lot of issues out there, a lot of damage, a lot of messing up people's lives at that time, and continuing on, like really bad stuff. These natural disasters. But every sale that they make on this thing, they're going to be donating 10% of the funds to AHBAP, which is a charity that's dedicated to supporting those in need. But do your investigative work on that charity if you so choose. But they did state that that's what they're going to be doing, donating some funds to this charity to help out over there. So that's cool. So yeah, if you're interested, I think this is a neat device, especially now with that VMU. That's freaking awesome. But yeah, check it out. Links down below. Really do appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.